Pokemon Quartz, an honest attempt at being yet another Pokemon ROM that could be remembered as an all-time classic in the community. Did it achieve this goal? Well, let's just say that it's popular for the wrong reasons. But hey, it got you to click on this video. If you've seen either of the two previous episodes in this series, you would already know how this will go down. As for anyone new, time to listen up and start the clock. I'll start by going over a quick history of the ROM in the spotlight, take 5 Pokemon and go over them as well, then remake their designs and shinies, only to end with adding them back into the ROM to see how they would look with a fresh coat of paint. Got all that? Great, because we're jumping straight in. Pokemon Quartz was first released on Poke Community back in March 23, 2006, which was posted by a user called TechBarrow, or just Barrow for short. In the hack that was made by using Pokemon Ruby as the base, Quartz features almost 400 new designs, the new corner region being quirky with having not 8, not 16, but 9 whole new gyms, with a new story to follow along that as well. To quickly summarize the plot, the story starts in the corner region, having just moved there. Professor Barrow, aka Self-Insert, sends you off with a Pokédex cliché to fulfill, while having yet another brain-dead organization that somehow has always more people joining than there are people in all of the cities. Well, what's their daring deed today, you say? The electric-themed evil organization by the name of Band Ambar aims to harness the power of the sun to bolster electric-type Pokemon. That has to be the stupidest plot I've... You were saying? So yeah, besides the expected part of stopping them and beating the league, pretty cookie cutter if I do say so myself. Then again, it doesn't matter that much as long as the main focus, rather the Pokemon themselves, are cool enough to... What's the opposite of flying too close to the sun? Before I burn my eyes out, let's just get to me having my hardest redesign challenge yet. Thinking I'm so clever and quirky, let's start with a starter. How do I even have an audience? Not even having a page for most of the Fakemon, I had to dig into the game's code and, oh no, play through the game a bit to actually find information on every design in this video. Even for the somehow capable of learning a tract, Third Goblin Babos. Being the final stage in a line, the Monograss Jardino has a stat total of 530, being somehow faster than a Pokemon that's literally based on a jet. But then again, that same ping is outsped by a fat cat that most usually forget about. So scratch that. As for how it looks in-game, the most surprising thing about all its sprites is that the back looks much higher quality than the whole roster itself. But otherwise, it's nothing special. As for Pokédex entries, we got that as well, though in broken English. I would correct it for you, but that would just ruin the experience. Jardino's head is so big that its brain has to be really little, so it won't lose its balance. Don't ask me how that works, cause by this, Jardino is known by its little intelligence. Huh, wasn't that a journey and a half itself to go through? Well, time to recharge our brain cells with finally getting to redesign the creature. Deciding to try and give its hippo heritage a better showing, I lean more into its real-life animal counterpart side of the design to make it more chunkier, rounder, and special. How would this thing be 120 speed stat points fast? Checkmate. Growing the other attributes along the size growth to not make them seem out of place, I shaped the leaves to be more arm-like, so that the thing can be imagined as actually being capable of surviving in a wildlife scenario. Finishing up all the things related to sprite designing as well, I also do a little bit of unnecessary enhancing by also creating an icon that follows the Gen 3 style, while also letting the YouTube comments voices be heard, with the fact that back sprites have also made an appearance. Yippee! With a full package now made, let's turn back to the ROM and witness the glow up in action. Dummy fig? Check. Dummy fig from the back? Check. An icon that's just there? No. How about an icon that's just there while looking dummy fig? Check. Also, we can't forget about some good old shiny action, which slowly leads into... If you thought that was fun, wait until you see what's up next. We can't have a ROM design remake video without an RNG element, so let me just... yeah, that should be good. Being a 13-year precursor for Dynamaxes, the Fakemon that I'll probably pronounce each time differently, Descomune fills the role for the random category of today's batch. What are the other categories, you may say? I'll guess you need to watch until then to find out. So let's get moving. Being the final evolution in its line and having a 500 stat total with a spread, that would be any Pokemon designer's sleep paralysis demon. Its other ventures like the ability and type side don't fare much better either. But when it comes to the sprites, the most I can say besides the funny thing about there being no difference in the shiny back sprite is that I love the simplicity with its icon animation and circling mist at the top. Alright, enough joking around. Time to see what tales the Dex has prepped for us. Older Descomunes are really big. Although only the 10% of its body is meat, its back rock grows really fast. It's so big, the joke, that in Descomune's tops it often snows. Okay, I think I'll prefer not speaking about how much takes it took to record that. But also, I can't hate on a fellow non-native English speaker. So I'll keep my script reading only mouth shut. Instead, it's time to get down to business. Liking the concept, yet feeling like it definitely has things that could be improved, I keep the same idea of the Fakemon and either enhance the things that I think work well, or change aspects like the head and fin shape to mesh better with the overall image of the design. Though if you asked me what was the worst thing about retouching this beast, that still loses to your mom when it comes to the biggest islands when entering the waters, is the struggle of not making the mountain too messed up when animating. So to solve that, I painstakingly adjusted every frame in an attempt to avoid any weird morphing when moving. But when it comes to the end result, I would say that it paid off pretty well, even with the back sprite, menu sprite, and shiny variants in mind. Though there's something still missing. Oh, thanks for reminding future me. Now, how about you do the transition for me as well, eh? Slipping past any King DDD relation allegations, Ruycantor joins us as the Route 1 bird equivalent for Quartz. As for the slot it fulfills in this video's roster, let's see... It kind of looks cool? Yeah, let's go with that. After avoiding unnecessary bullshit, we get to see that our regal bird here is eating shit in every regard besides speed. And yes, this is the final stage in its evolution line. That's, of course, normal flying. Not offering much else in the stat department besides a mildly intriguing guts ability, Ruycantor instead shows off with above average sprites when compared to the competition. But before we get to make sprites of our own, let's get to the segment that you forgot you were excited for. Ruycantor's sinking voice reminds two opera singers. The way this Pokemon some scientists think, Ruycantors are able to learn humans' language, or at least repeat words with no sense, as a parrot. Okay, I'm sorry. That was almost a KO and a half right to the brain. But we can't quit just yet. Deciding that leaning more into the regal and showing off aspect could be a better fit for the design, and not having any funny haha ideas about it looking slightly similar to a different Burking, I give Ruycantor's red colored feathers a new look, which grow out to give a look that's similar to royalties and their attire, while still not just being a case of, ew, the Pokemon is wearing clothes. As for the so-called crown, I make it a version of crown-like shapes that some birds like the cassowary have, which are called casquays, I think. Hence having not only a realistic excuse, but also having a play with words. As for some extra charm, I gave the loop-breaking animation some extra flair by making it exude smug energy with a shoulder-cleaning swipe that arrogant, proud royal stereotypes usually have. While I feel pretty proud of my reasonings for design aspects of the new Ruycantor, here are most of the sprites that reinvigorate this long untouched Fakemon. As for showing off all of the sprites, with that out of the way, how about we finally cover an actual higher level design? Just like we can't have a redesign video without RNG, we also can't have a ROM remake video without its guy on the title screen. After not making a joke about it being a stand-in for Rayquaza, yet still saying indirectly, Kaosune comes at us with stats that end up just mildly reinforcing my last statement. But the Fire Dragon typing makes me intrigued, especially with that ability. Giving it the benefit of doubt, The sprites offer some unique properties, like the green Kyogre fin-like markings on its forehead. Nonetheless, let's see if this legendary has any special lore. Kaosune has been described in mythology as the firing chaos incarnation that would destroy the world. This Pokemon's fury is nothing compared to the Master of Chaos. If we look a bit deeper, in my case just clicking on its fandom page, the term Master of Chaos refers to another legendary by the name of Garotao, also known as Deoxys' fat mustache-twirling uncle. Alright, enough yapping. Let's give this Rayquaza-inspired design a second coat of paint, making it more intimidating and slivery to show off its spiky design elements, while coming off more bigger in size. I start playing more into its Chaos Prophet aspect with colors and artistic choices that make it seem more venomous, while also not overdoing it, since it's not the top dog, so to speak, hence making it seem more like a henchman, as how it's described in Garotao's dex entry. With more edge made in the animation process, let's bring it back to its homeworld and finally not bring up the topic of identity crisis. But even with all these mesmerizing pixels on screen, we haven't reached the peak until we... Want to know something cool? There's still one more chapter left. Most likely being the thing that introduced you to this ROM hack in the first place, Babos, without any better words to describe it, is a masterpiece that's severely undercut by its presentation. Do I really mean it? No. Do I want to make it sound like that and have the funniest time thinking that this is the one many remember this ROM hack by? Yes, I do. Although this accidental ironic 10 out of 10 has an evolution called Osoe, I'll stick to just going over the one that has actual meme status behind it instead. Probably being only a surprise to the -1 Babos fanbase only, it wields a majestic stat total of 260 with a nothing burger of a stat spread at the expected normal type on top. Like I mentioned before, it evolves into a Soe, which is achieved with happiness. Dude, I think even the developer has it out for the line. As for sprites, it's the same as it was before. Oh, and of course, how can we do this without the dex entry? Although Babos is very ugly, it has a powerful and incredible charm for opposite gender. This is very mysterious, but some scientists say it's on Babos' eyes. Of course, I could joke about the English again, but why would I do that when we got scientific proof that the dad bod is the sleeper build we need to go for? Better yet, we got the redesigning segment up next. Deciding to not ruin the one thing that's going for it, I go for the option of remastering the sprite by enhancing the big body shape everyone dreams of, and also touching up things like its legs and jaw to mesh better together when looking at the full picture. Though to be honest, I got nothing much else to say, cause it took my breath away. Ooh. Finally fulfilling the desire to see it remade in its original game, we also get more action with a remade icon, back sprite with the same energy, and a shiny? Yep, It's an okay shiny, I guess. Though on an actual special note, let's see the special surprise. With this little beefcake now finally being made, I can finally conclude this journey of redesigning quirky designs. Of course, I also want to mention that anything I said, which felt ill-mannered towards the dev, was a joke a bit too far at worst. Creating a ROM 18 years ago was nowhere close as easy as it is today, especially when it comes to creating a complete overhaul. Then translating to a language you're not as used to is quite a feat. As for the video itself, let me know your favorite designs from the original, and of course the favorites from my sprites as well. Follow me on Twitter for sneak peeks and other stuff. Let me know if you want me to continue this series and with what. Subscribe, like, and stay tuned for more.